is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting for Monday, April the 9th, 2018. Everyone will please stand and pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Secretary, please note the roll, and Mr. Bailey is excused.
Noted.
Now to approval of the agenda. Changes.
A second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Moving on to minutes. Two sets of minutes. We have 5A, our regular minutes from our March 12, 2018 ZBA meeting. There was one change earlier at the time.
Yeah, my only thing, I think it was maybe 7:38 that we adjourned. I don't think we finished everything in 7 minutes. I know we were out.
We went quickly.
We were out before 8, but I think it's just, it should be 38, not 28.
Any other potential changes? Discussion on that?
Well, I know I would think that we need to check that and make sure it's time.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be willing to approve it with once the tape or whatever is
So we bring this
checked,
back to us?
we just add it in there.
Okay.
Approve everything else. Stipulate that the right number will be inserted, whatever it is.
So the appropriate action is to postpone these, or?
Well, no, I mean, I would move to approve them
Okay.
with the only stipulation being that the time be checked, and if the time is 7:38 or whatever,
28.
it would be amended.
Okay.
Other than that, I would approve it with just the time change.
We have a motion and a
Second.
second. All right, motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Moving on to the joint meeting minutes from March 22nd.
I move to approve the meeting minutes from the joint meeting for March 22nd.
Just a second.
A second.
I wasn't at that, so I will abstain from voting on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So moving on to number 6, which is public comment on items not on tonight's agenda. Anyone from the public wishes to come forward and speak on any item not on tonight's agenda? Do you have any comments, concerns?
I have a
Please
question.
come to the mic and announce yourself.
It's actually in regards to the meeting of March 12th. Did it occur? Did you have?
Could you get on the mic, please, and give your name and address, please?
My name is Kathy Kisma, and my address is 1675 Harwood Drive.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay. Now can I?
Absolutely, ask the question.
Okay. I have received a notice, I was on vacation, that this particular issue, number B, was supposed to be talked about on March the 12th. So, and here you are saying that the regular meeting did occur on March the 12th, but I wasn't here. And then I got another notice that the same proposal is on today. So, was it discussed, not discussed?
I sent the wrong date out first time and resent new ones and republished it.
Okay, so this is for this evening.
Yes. So she got 2 notices, everybody got 2 notices over on Hardwood, but I sent out a revised one showing the correct date. And I noticed it in the paper with the correct date. So it's this meeting.
Yeah, it's on for this evening.
So,
There's an error in the notification.
okay, so
So that was
it
good.
wasn't
This
on
item was
it
discussed.
wasn't on the agenda to be discussed last month?
It was not discussed last month.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wondered.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving on to regular business, 7A. This is ZBA 006.189 or 590 Maloney Street, parcel 0428 303 006. The applicant is D.L. Jones and Associates Architects, PLLC. Address is 1581 Hardwood, Oxford, Michigan, 48371. Owners of the property are Patricia and Dan Petrona. Proposed construction of addition that is partially over an existing attached garage. The subject parcel is located in an R1 single-family zoning district. Approval of this application as submitted would require a variance in accordance with zoning ordinance 67A, Article 3.7, Schedule of District Regulations. Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Good evening. Just for your knowledge, our process here is tenfold. You'll make a statement, we'll open up a public hearing, we'll close the public hearing, we'll take comments and questions, building department administrator comments, you'll have board members' questions and comments, a finding of fact, a motion, board member discussion, comment, and then finally a vote. So,
Okay.
Good evening. Please introduce yourself.
My name's Deborah Jones, architect, D.L. Jones and Associates Architects. We went through that. I'm here representing Daniel and Patricia Petrona. They are requesting a variance to the zoning ordinance 67A, Article 3.7, the Schedule of Regulations. What we're proposing to do is, part of the project is to add a second-story addition over an existing garage, and that existing garage violates the front yard setback substantially. The variance required would be about a 21.5-foot variance, being that the garage already is within 3.59 foot of the front yard setback, or front yard property line rather. We're also proposing a two-story addition that sits more on the lakeside. The current house is kind of a U-shape and would just be infilling that area on the lakeside, so it's completely behind the existing home. So that actually would also encroach on the front yard setback by about 3.82 feet. But as I said, it's entirely behind the existing structure. Obviously, the existing structure is non-compliant, obviously due to the unique shape and circumstances of this lakefront community. The proposed additions wouldn't encroach on the front yard any further than we already are with the existing structure. And we believe the additions would be an improvement to the property, and it won't have any adverse effects on the neighboring properties.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Thank you. At this time, 7:10, I'll open up the public hearing. Anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this item, feel free to step forward. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 7:10. We do have a letter in our packet from the planning consultant, Carlisle Wortman, dated March 16, 2018, essentially outlining what the applicant has described as the request for variance. Again, asking for a front yard setback of approximately 21.5 feet. 25 foot is required in that area. Comments from board members?
Yeah, in this case, because it's just going up, is that really increasing further into the setback than the existing building footprint? It just seems like it
Could you pull your mic in, Callie? Callie?
could cause any more of a significant impact. It would probably, end up with a nice looking house and a dark out of the area. It's just not that stuff.
Any other board member comments? I'm looking at this and looking at the aerial photograph that's in the Carlisle Wortman letter. I find it astonishing how close those houses really are to the road. I realize those.
You have to
those are
drive down the street.
I have. It's pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
The whole character is that way, and
Yeah.
it works.
I'm afraid you're pretty amazing that was built in that manner. But, all right, we will move on to findings of fact. Pursuant to section 17.8C, in reviewing the request for a variance, the following standards for determining practical difficulty shall be considered, with no single factor being determinative. strict compliance with restrictions regarding covering area, setback, front, frontage, height, density, bulk, or other non-use manners will unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for a permitted purpose or render ordinance conformity unnecessarily burdensome. Or comments?
I think in this case, because they're not expanding outward, just up and into another area, I think it would be unnecessary maintenance, and in this case, to not.
I can't hear it.
I agree, it's already non-conforming. Getting any closer, it's just going
It
up,
wouldn't
right?
be unnecessarily burdensome, but I agree with that.
As do I mean, we're not increasing that non-conformity, it is legally non-conforming. If it was going forward, that'd be a different story. Moving on, the need for the variance would be substantial justice to the applicant as well as the property owners in the area.
I think it would definitely be justice to the homeowners, but not necessarily to the area, other people in the area.
I think the whole character of the neighborhood, the way everything that the setbacks are, I think overall it would benefit everybody.
Yeah, I think there would be obviously some justice to the applicant as well, and just again, the character of that area. We've seen multiple variances coming in this board that we've had to deal with over the years.
Yeah, I agree.
A lesser variance than requested will not give substantial release to the applicant and will not be more consistent with justice to other property owners.
Yeah, it's what, 3.5 feet, I think is a minimum request. Is not, I don't see where anything less would be beneficial. Especially since it would change the way it would come out from the house, so I don't think it would be possible.
I agree. All right, moving on. The need for the variance is due to unique circumstances peculiar to the property and not applicable in the general area or to other properties in the same zone. Given the shape and irregularity of the site, it is a challenge even with today's setback to build something that is reasonable on that lot without the need for a variance. I was just thinking to try to build something on there would be rather challenging to get anything that's worthwhile. Any other comments? And finally, the problem, the resulting need for the variance has not been self-created by the applicant or the applicant's predecessors. I would say it's not created by the applicant, has purchased the home, so they're not the ones that created the situation. It's interesting again that those houses get built and that close. Any other comments? At this point in time, I'll entertain a motion.
I would move to approve the requested variance. 3.9?
3.59.
3.59?
Yeah, 3.59 is what the existing building is setback.
All right, to approve the requested variance of 3.95 feet for the property located at 590 Malone Street, parcel 0428303006. This would be based on the plans dated 1/19/2008, and the information provided by Carlisle Wetlands and Associate, and the findings of facts as discussed in the meeting today.
Second.
We have a motion by Roger Myers and seconded by Payne. Any discussion on the motion?
May I make a comment on that?
Oh, we've already
Just
had-
that she said 3.95 rather than 3.59.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
amend the
wrote down
motion. Thank you.
3.59. Thank you, I would amend my
I was
motion.
just gonna mention.
3.59.
I will amend my second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Rosner,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Kane, yes, Butler.
Yes. Motion granted. All right. Moving on to our next item.
Thank you.
Item 7B, ZBA 007.18, 665 Hardwood Drive, parcel 04-29-276004. The applicant, D.L. Jones and Associates Architects, PLLC, address 1581 Hardwood, Oxford, Michigan 48371. The owners are Stephen and Cheryl Arp. Proposed construction of a proposed three-car garage and a covered deck. The subject property is located in an R1 single-family zoning district. Approval of this application as submitted would require a variance according to zoning ordinance 67A, Article 3.7, Schedule of District Regulations. It's the applicant here. Hello again.
Again, requesting, Deborah Jones, D.L. Jones Associates Architects, 1581 Harwood, Oxford. Again, we are requesting a variance to the zoning ordinance 67A, Article 3.7, Schedule of Regulations. According to the Schedule of Regulations, the required setback is 10 foot for each side yard. We are requesting a 5-foot variance to that 10-foot side yard required setback to allow construction of a 3-car garage, side entry garage, and also a covered deck on the lakeside. We believe that the 3-car side entry garage would be an improvement to the existing front entry garage. Would be an improvement to the front facade. The existing driveway would be removed and a new concrete driveway would be put in its place. We would also be removing an approximate 9.5-foot by 10-foot shed that resides in the front yard now. We will be removing that, which I believe would be an improvement to the property. Both additions would stay in line with the existing house, which is currently 5 foot from the side property line. The proposed variance is actually required due to change in the zoning ordinance. I'm not sure when it came about. In this area, it used to be, side yard setbacks used to be required to be minimum of 5 foot, total of 15. So this at one point was in compliance, and is no longer in compliance. Not asking for anything more than what we already have, and that is to keep it 5 foot from the property line. Thanks for your consideration.
It is now 7:19. I'd like to open the public hearing for anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this matter. Feel free to come forward. Good evening.
Hi. My name is Paul Schmoody, and I reside at 1595 Harwood Drive, which is, I want to say, I think 4 houses away from the house that the Arbs just bought. And I just had nothing more really going on this evening, so I thought I'd come by and put my 2 cents in. But I think it's a great idea. I think these kinds of improvements really do a lot to enhance the neighborhood as a whole, whether you're walking by it on the street side or if you're on the lake. My family spends a great deal of time with our girls on the lake, and just seeing those kinds of improvements, those kinds of changes, I think it's a good thing for everybody. You know, it increases the value of the houses in the area. Just makes everything look nicer, you know, and I think that's what we kind of strive to do here. So that's all I got. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak on this item? Please.
My name is Kathy Kisma, 1675 Harwood Drive. I'm the next door neighbor. I don't really understand how this is going to be. The garage is going to be, are they asking for 5 feet closer to my property? Or are they moving forward? The side entrance, from what side is it going to be? Do they have any drawings?
Yes, there are drawings that we have in our possession.
Have a side of
Which exactly, if you're on the street side of the house, looking at the house,
Right.
to the left and to the right,
I'm to-
your house.
My house is left.
So you're looking to the left.
Or if I'm looking at the
If you're looking at her house, their
on the
house,
street, it's on the right.
so your house is on the right.
My house is on the right.
Okay. They do
You're
provide,
closer to Sanders.
So it's closer to the garage. So they're
closer to your existing garage, so your house is, okay. What they're proposing, and I'm sure the architect can share the drawings with you, and I can kind of describe it
Okay,
at the same time.
sure.
What they're proposing to do is to extend and build a new garage in the same place where the garage is currently, just move it closer to Hardwood.
This is the existing garage, right?
So the garage will not be closer to your house. Actually, a little bit further away.
So we'll spin it around so you're looking at it. So your house is over here. And this is the garage, the existing edge of the garage, and we're just gonna extend it straight out. We're not gonna come any closer to your property.
So you ask, so where's the variance that you're asking?
So the property line right now is here, and the existing house sits 5 foot off there. And the new ordinance requires that you're supposed to be 10 feet off. But when this house was originally built, as when yours was, the ordinance required you to put 5 foot off. So we're not proposing to move anything any closer to your house. We just want to take this line, the western side of the house, and extend it out towards the road. And so this area back here towards the lake. So we're not going to get any closer to your house than we already are.
Okay, so, fine.
You understand that? Thank you.
She will answer your question for you?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Anyone else from the public? Good evening.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Anthony Leeds, 1695 Harwood Drive, Oxford. I am 2 houses to the right of the proposed subject property. My wife and I are excited that somebody has taken an older house and making improvements to it. I think it does a great thing for the neighborhood, which is kind of a mishmash of older houses and newer houses that have been remodeled. So we think it makes everything look nicer and excited to see it happen.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 7:24. There is a letter, again from Carlisle Warman. That was dated March the 26th, 2018. And they're asking for a 5-foot side yard setback variance for this project. We did receive a letter addressed to me related to this item, Bob McCormick. And what it says is, I've read the notice of the Zoning Board of Appeals for the variance requested at 1665 Hardwood. My name is Bob McCarney, and my wife and I live at 1611 Hardwood Drive. I have reviewed the application for the variance, and I have also reviewed the drawings for the proposed elevations. As the homeowners in the area, we have no objection to the proposed revisions. In fact, with the change of the north elevation, we are very supportive of this upgrade to the neighborhood. If there are any questions, I can reach at the number below. Moving on to any board member questions or comments? Questions? Comments?
Similar to this.
Yeah, so I do have a question, just if you indulge me.
Sure.
Any consideration given to meet the side yard setback? What would happen if you had to?
The biggest issue with that is, as we push the garage further in or east on the property, we start encroaching on that front door.
Okay.
That's kind of, that front door area gets to be very small.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we will move on to our findings of fact. Pursuant to section 17.8, article C, that in reviewing the request for the variance, the following standards for determining practical difficulty shall be considered, but with no single factor being determinative. Strict compliance with restrictions governing area, setback, frontage, height, density, bulk, and other non-use matters will unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for a permitted purpose or render ordinance conformity unnecessarily burdensome. Board member comments? Mr. Walters?
Well, we already have an existing structure there. It's 5 feet from west property line, right? So it's already not conforming. So I believe it would apply.
Councilman Myers? Comments?
Yeah, we were extending it a little bit more towards the road, but huge change in the overall design is an improvement.
Yeah, I agree it's improving. We're obviously making it a little bit better because it's 5.9 feet. If you take the sum total of the two setbacks, look at 5.9 and the 14 whatever, you're almost at 20 feet. Yeah. Take the total of that, you're supposed to be, but you're close if the house is moved over. Moving to the next item. Variance will do substantial justice to the applicant as well as to other property owners. Any more comments?
Yeah, the same here like it did the last, it's an improvement. It meets with the character and it's not going farther than the existing lines of the structure.
Yeah, I agree. It's obviously improving it. Like I said previously, it's not increasing the non-conformity. It's pretty much the best they can do.
And also, when we looked at a lot of the residences and when we were considering the zoning changes, looking at that setback to have overall, like you were saying, like in that 20 or that 50, it has a bigger setback on one side, the smaller on the other, and so it really met with what we were trying to, the intent of what we were trying to accomplish when we're working with these non-conforming areas. So I guess when I say they're not 5 and 5.
Right.
Right.
All right, moving on, a lesser variance than requested will not give substantial relief to the applicant and will not be more consistent with justice to other property owners.
I think it applies, as the architect said, it's, as you move, if it was a lesser variance, we'd be moving closer to that front door, and this structure's already at the 5 foot, distance from the property line. It's not moving any closer to, actually, it's moving a little farther away from that, 5.93. So I believe that applies.
Any comments?
I agree.
I agree as well. Number 4, the need for the variance is due to unique circumstances peculiar to the property and not generally applicable in the area to other properties in the same zone district. We followed this one many times on these areas, in these communities.
Yeah, it's a non-conforming.
For most of those things are legally non-conforming.
It's hard to apply that one when the majority of the area is not conforming.
Right.
So I don't think they're any more non-conforming than the majority of the rest that's going on there. So I think this is appropriate.
And finally, the need for the problem and the need for the resulting variance has not been self-created by the applicant or the applicant's predecessors.
Agreed.
Agree applies.
I believe it applies as well.
Moving on with that, we'll move on to a motion. I'll make a motion at this time in this matter.
I'll make a motion in the matter of regarding CBA 007.18, 1665 Harwood Drive, parcel 0429276004, the proposed construction of a 3-car garage and covered deck based on the plans dated CBA March 8, 2018 by D.L. Jones and Associates Architects PLLC and Kyle Wortman Associates Incorporated, memo dated March 26, 2018,
Based on our findings of facts and our discussion, I move to approve a 5-foot side yard variance from the west property line.
Second.
So it's not moving closer,
Motion
way
by-
north, mine,
Walters,
just going forward.
seconded by Payne. Any discussion on the motion?
Forward?
We're including, right, the plans were submitted, so that the structure should look like the plans submitted. I mean, part of that is what I'm,
It's based on the plans that are here.
okay.
So, yeah.
So if it's substantially different in architecture or look, that wouldn't be complying.
It was on.
Correct.
Thank you. Just clarifying that.
No other discussion?
Mayor?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Payne, yes. Butler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. All right, moving on to item number 8, board member comments.
The joint meeting, I thought was really good. Yeah, there was a really good exchange of ideas, and everybody is on the same track, and I thought it was really helpful.
We all fit in this room too.
Yeah, I was amazed.
Yeah, we had a crowd, it was nice. That's a good discussion between the three, so it's really,
Yeah.
Sorry that I didn't have the opportunity to participate in.
It was, you know, we had to be the kids at the table over there.
yeah.
Any other comments? For a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?